I do think that several members of Congress in some of my discussions have brought up media literacy, because that is a part of what happened here. And we're going to have to figure out how we rein in our media environment so that you can't just spew disinformation and misinformation. It's one thing to have differing opinions, but it's another thing entirely to just say things that are false. And so that's something that we're looking into.
And boosting Trump back in 2016. But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrence. Because
All right. Welcome once again to the Beatzillapdx official show. I am your host, Beatzillapdx officially, and this is the midweek report. News break edition. Of course, that means we are tape delayed. So if you're looking at this and it appears to be live, this is a tape delayed broadcast. So nonetheless, thank everybody for tuning in right now, and I appreciate you. If you could, as you were coming into this broadcast, please hit that like button, share this out on your social media, subscribe to this channel if you have not already done so, and if you're watching on X, come on over to the YouTube channel, Beatzillapdx official. Come on over here and subscribe, because every video is not on X that will be on this channel. So you would want to get over here so you don't miss out on anything. Then you'll hit that notification bell. You'll hit the word all. That way you'll be notified anytime this channel goes live or a video is uploaded or premieres. So keep those notification bells on, because you never know. You never know. And so with that being said, we have a lot going on. We also have the opportunity to join this channel if you would like. And by joining this channel, you get certain perks. You become a member and you'll see things in the members only area, which mostly pertain to music and other things. But there's things in, the members only area. And also some of the videos that will air for general public will air first in the members area. So some of the videos that you will see premiering, chances are they will be in the members area. So with that being said, again, thank y'all for tuning in on this Wednesday night. Peace, power, blessings, and protection be up on each and every one of you. Thank you. So with that, this midweek report, we are talking about more Democrat delusions and brainwashing. And one of the things that is starting to come up, and I think people should pay attention to it, is the talk of censorship. The censorship conversation should definitely be worrying people, because that's a problem. That is a problem. But first, before we get into any of that, I want to say rest in peace to John Amos, who we just recently found out passed away last month. I don't know why the notification was so late, but rest in peace to that brother, and condolences to the family and friends and fellow actors and actresses that worked with him and had relationships. Man, condolences, and to the fans. With that being said, also the other things that are in the news are this turmoil over here in the Middle East. The turmoil in the Middle East is becoming it's becoming the forefront of conversation. And here's the problem. America's role in this, because it's lining up to have American tied into a conflict. And now you're looking at multiple different powers and friends. It's not a good look. And now there's missiles dropping. They're retaliating. They hit them, and then they hit back. It's like a big gang war going on over there right now, and playing out on the civilians. And granted, that doesn't really have to do with us as it pertains to our political issues here. However, it does have some implications on abroad, only because of our tie to these people here in this land and the things that they do. So it leaves us open to the repercussions of their dangerous moves. And one of those dangerous moves we've seen have been attacks in years past for over supporting and financing Israel to do what they wanted to do. And now it's almost like they're running out the clock about this election here. And because, who knows how things are going to go. So they're not trying to talk about no ceasefire. So, just interesting how things are going. But, can't help but notice it's Iran and Israel. The things that end of days stories are made of. Russia's in a conflict with France. Look who's tied to both of these conflicts. I mean, this is bad luck. And America should not be in any of these conflicts. Number one, they're not ours. And so between Ukraine and Israel, America has to fund and fight for people who supposedly can't defend themselves. Because as we keep hearing, we need to allow these people to defend themselves. We need to help them to defend themselves. If they were able to defend themselves, they would not need us. And so, they're trying to low-key reinstate the draft and stuff like that. Why? Because they know what they're doing in this particular conflict. I think the writing is on the wall that people could see it coming down the pike, so to speak. So, needless to say, on the international front of the news, family, pay attention. Just take, I don't know, you guys might go into your news apps or whatnot, and you might look local or look at the United States or sports or entertainment. But most definitely take a look at that the world news part. If you're looking at the finance page, make sure you turn over there and see. Well, I think if you're looking at the finance page, then you are probably in tune with the world page, because one one affects the other. So that's something to consider, folks. Just just leave y'all with that. So moving forward, the other little piece, did y'all see Angela Rye? Angela Rye flipped out on another guest, and this time it was the Byron McDonald cat. And I don't understand. I just don't understand what this lady's problem is. She believes or perceives that, like, if you're not down with Team Democrat, then it, like, all civility goes out the window. And it's really amazing. Let me see if I can find that song. Yeah, let me play this little audio for y'all real quick. Let me cut this off here. Okay, let me play this audio for you real quick. Let me turn this up. I'm gonna just play it from my phone so y'all can hear.
Joe Biden wanted to do.
Okay. Are we thriving? Is our members in your?
I would argue we're not really thriving right now. This inflation, which by the way was brought to us by Kamala Harris, it says really slowed down people from being able to excel. By Kamala? Yeah, Vice President. Charlemagne. Still the president. Charlemagne, listen.
Wow.
When Joe Biden wanted to do his American Rescue Plan, Kamala Harris was the tie-breaking vote in the United States Senate. She broke the tide and started this inflation that has hurt so many people in our country. Everybody listening to your show. It's not true?
First of all,
you sure you want to go there? You sure you want to go there?
Go outside. Go outside.
You want to go there? Okay, let's go there.
That's fine. I have no.
I'm gonna give it to Charlotte.
For every infrastructure project in your community, you should go out and thank Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and the Congress that voted for the American Rescue Plan. That's what should be happening.
Larry Summers wrote an op-ed back in 2021. Larry Summers was the Treasury Secretary for Bill Clinton. He was an economic advisor to Barack Obama. He said that the American Rescue Plan that Joe Biden wanted, that Kamala Harris was a tie-breaking vote in the United States Senate, would create a massive inflation that we have not seen in a generation. Well, guess what? Larry Summers was correct. You know who also was correct, Angela? I was, because I was in the budget committee when they brought the bill. And I said in that committee, it's going to cause massive inflation. That's what happened. So the problem we have in our economy today is that prices have gone up massively. Wages adjusted for inflation is down. People's pocketbooks are hurting. But we have a presidential election in 40 days. So, and I'm gonna ask Envy this question. Envy, you're in the housing business as well. I know because I watch. I listen to the show. No, I'm just asking them a question. Chill, Angela. So I listen to the show. I know you do a lot of business in housing.
Now, notice again, and if you guys go listen to it, this is a longer interview, but it's a lot of back and forth with Angela Rye, and she's pretty much doing the same thing that she was doing to Jill Stein. She's doing it all over again. And it's like, have y'all noticed? Not only that, like with the moderators, the moderators with these debates, they're not supposed to fact check, but then there they go, fact checking. It's like their bias is, they can't, there's no self-control. What happened to the old school journalism to where, because see, here's the thing. If you're a journalist, you're supposed to be the standing, the long-standing platform of no bias toward either side. You are to facilitate the conversation from both sides to the American people. But now what we're getting is absolute straight almost harassment. And so this is the other thing I wanted to play. Hold on.
Are we thriving? Is our members in your?
I would argue we're not really thriving right now.
Okay, no, that's the same one. But she keeps interrupting. And if you go listen to this, it's very interesting. She really, really goes out of her way to disrupt what he's saying. But then something else that happened in the debate is that the moderators started doing that. You start over talking the dude, and while he's trying to get his point out, this is crazy. It's something that I just can't help but notice in this new day and age of so-called being the platform to host a presidential debate and supposedly moderate, but that's clearly not what's happening. And, you know, you don't have to be an apologist for anybody to see that. Because the truth of the matter is, to be so to be so overtly aggressively one-sided with your energy. And you know, same with the the National Association of Black Journalists. When Trump went there, they were real, you know, the energy was right off the rip negative. And you know, here's JD Vance. I guess all he had to be was associated with Trump, and they couldn't help themselves but to break their own rule that they agreed to. That's insane. That is insane. But one thing, you know, about all of it is that, you know, the people that they're bringing out, like the Angela Rise and even some of these other shills, I'll say, they're running this aggressive. I mean, because really, everybody, because I'll say they're all shills. There's no real true journalists sitting up here versus it be, say, the moderators, or whether it be like a radio program or a TV program or a podcast. Everything is just geared towards one individual, which is, in this case, Kamala Harris. And she doesn't even have to ever speak off the cuff. One thing that we, I guess, got used to with politicians in years past is getting access to them freely speaking. And you know, up until recent years, Joe Biden was fine at that. The problem is Joe Biden getting older, and he's no longer fine at that. And it shows. So they had to get him out the paint, sit him down, and move along. Well, of course. But here's the thing. You got people like Nancy Pelosi that will tell blatant lies like there was a primary when there wasn't. You know, oh, well, yeah, no, she got the votes. Nobody else ran. That's crazy talk. And this woman will sit up there and tell you with a straight face that that's what happened. And the thing about, like I keep saying, for me, it's the overt dishonesty. And in this case, look at Nancy Pelosi. Check out what she said.
You had reportedly said you wanted a sort of an open primary if Joe Biden stepped down. Did you change your mind because you saw all the excitement around Kamala Harris?
No, I didn't change my mind. We had an open primary and she won it. Nobody else got in the race because she was politically astute and
That's a short history to rewrite. That is a very short history to rewrite. But nonetheless, Nancy Pelosi just went ahead and did it. But that is extremely short history to rewrite. No, Nancy, there was no primary. The people did not. There was nobody that voted. How many votes did she win by, if that's the case? If Kamala won, then how many votes did she win by? I mean, what are you talking about? And she says it with a straight face. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, nobody else ran. Nobody else could run. They made sure of that, didn't they? But ladies and gentlemen, first thing I want to do with this evening before we get into any of these further videos, I want to go ahead and visit some clips from last night's debate. And, there's some interesting parts in here. So I'm going to go through some of this and get this on the screen. All right, I'm going to go through a little bit of this and, we'll break it down. We'll break it down. So let's go. Let's start with the intro that they have with it.
Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is.
Now, the funny thing about that, we're going to be talking about that censorship part, of course, but look at J.D. Vance's Tim Walsh's response. I'm going to just rewind that so you can just watch his body language.
He lose the 2020 election.
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
It's a damning non-answer for you to not talk about censorship. Obviously, Donald Trump and I think that there were problems in 2020. We've talked about it. I'm happy to talk about it further. But you guys attack us for not believing in democracy. The most sacred right under the United States democracy is the First Amendment. You yourself have said there's no First Amendment right to misinformation. Kamala Harris wants to use the power of government and big tech to silence people from speaking their minds. That is a threat to democracy that will long outlive this present political moment. I would like Democrats and Republicans to both reject censorship. Let's persuade one another. Let's argue about ideas, and then let's come together afterwards.
Now, I agree. And again, like I said about the censorship part, understand what we have seen in this country over the past few years. We saw a lot of censorship. Right now, we don't see much at all. It used to be a lot of fact checking on your post. They'd take your post down. It was medical misinformation. They don't really tell you what the misinformation is. And so actually, when you start looking back and looking at all of this and examining it with the eye of retrospect, now that we have the time to look back at it, which I believe then it was absolute BS. They're just saying they're going to take down stuff and take it down, not because it's really medical misinformation. It's that they don't like the opinion, and the truth of the matter is what you saying actually just simply might be true. And so what they're having an issue with is the truth, not misinformation. Their issue is with the truth. Like, for instance, Kamala Harris not being black. That's the truth. That people have a hard time accepting that part. Why? Well, because when you've gotten used to ingesting the same reprobate mind state and just saying, okay, this lie, we're just going to call it real. That's how it happens. But for the rest of us who can consistently tell you she's not black, what have we heard all of this time? It's pretty much died on the vine, but now, oh man, it comes up and it's like, oh, it's Donald Trump. It's Donald Trump. He's saying this. No, he's not. So stop trying to use the black community as cover for this woman. And this is what they've been trying to do. We got to protect her. No, you don't. That's not our job. Matter of fact, her husband and those folks need to. And I'm sure that's who she's looking out for. That and her people. To which, we're definitely not foundational black Americans. So, although she has cosplayed as that too, And that also goes unknown. Nobody ever says anything about that. I've posted that and like, hey, what about this? You know, people just want to ignore it like it ain't there. It's like, yeah, no, she's this is a problem. This is not just lying, it's bad lying. And why is she lying? And you know, at the end of the day, if she, as for what her mistakes are, don't let that be on, well, there's the first Indian this and the first Indian that. Oh, no. Because he, you know, how they'll do, and man, that's the first black president. This has been the worst, or first black woman president. This has been this and this has been that. It's the worst ever in history. And listen, that woman is an Asian Pacific Islander, or what they say. Well, she's East Indian, but what they call them, AAIP. That's what it's called, because they, you know, often have put us in that coalition box, which doesn't work. Jesse Jackson or Martin Luther King III, with that all of a sudden Johnny come lately idea of a black and brown coalition at 2024 with all these immigrants coming in here. Man, if you don't sit your ass down. Anyway, let's hear some more of this.
Can't yell fire in a crowded theater. That's the test. That's the Supreme Court test.
Tim, fire in a crowded theater. You guys wanted to kick people off of Facebook for saying that toddlers shouldn't
Senator,
wear
the
masks.
governor does
That's
have the
not
floor.
Fire in a crowded theater. That is criticizing the policies of the government, which is the right of every American.
Senator, the governor does have the floor for 1 minute to respond to you.
Yeah. Well, I don't run Facebook. What I do know is I see a candidate out there who refused, and now again, and this, I'm pretty shocked by this. He lost the election. This is not a debate.
If you become vice president, why should Americans trust that you will give Donald Trump the advice he needs to hear? And
okay, that's cool. Let me go over here, because that's not really pertinent to what I want to hear.
Change your mind. You ought to be honest with the American people about it.
you said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989. But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year.
Look, I will be the first to tell you, I have poured my heart into my community. I've tried to do the best I can, but I've not been perfect. And I'm a knucklehead at times, but it's always been about that. Many times I will talk a lot. I will get caught up in the rhetoric. But being there, the impact it made, the difference it made in my life, I learned a lot about China. I hear the critiques of this. I would make the case that Donald Trump should have come on one of those trips with us. I guarantee you he wouldn't be praising Xi Jinping about COVID. And I guarantee you he wouldn't start a trade war that he ends up losing.
So first of all, Margaret, before we talk about deportation.
Boy. One thing I will say, his dancing around the question, not answering word salad, it definitely lands better than Kamala's. I'll say that. I mean, still, he said absolutely nothing and did not answer the question, but it definitely does land better. His BS flows much better. And I guess maybe he needs to. Him and Kamala need to, you know, maybe hang out a little bit so she can kind of let that rub off if that's what she's trying to do. Because, and I don't know, you know, it's when you hear BS, you know, it's BS, and what that was absolute BS. And these people are professionals. So that was pretty good at ranting off a bunch of nothing. Didn't answer what she asked him, but, you know, okay. Now, let's go ahead and hear some more, because this is going to be a rough one for him again. Anybody who gets out of here talking about, yeah, Tim Walz, you know, he really, I think he won and got J.D. Vance. In what world? In what world? These are highlights, rather. You know, it's just a little short highlight reel, but and you're hearing in these highlights, it's just going over the sections of the points. And what you are getting is both sides giving their saying their piece. And this man, Tim Walz, is being lambasted. Let's hear a little more.
deportations, we have to stop the bleeding. We have a historic immigration crisis because Kamala Harris started and said that she wanted to undo all of Donald Trump's border policies.
Kamala Harris was the attorney general of the largest state and a border state in California. She's the only person in this race who prosecuted transnational gangs.
Whoa, wait, what did he say? I'm just, hold on.
Wanted to undo all of Donald Trump's border policies.
Kamala Harris was the attorney general of the largest state and a border state in California. She's
Well, which one is that? They both incorrect. So maybe am I wrong? Is California the largest state in America? The largest state? The largest border state? California's bigger than Texas? That's news to me, Tim. Yeah, that's news to me. I can't recall. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Let me know. But yeah, he just said that California is the biggest border state. All right.
the only person in this race who prosecuted transnational gangs for human trafficking and drug interventions. But look, we all want to solve this. Most of us want to solve this.
Doesn't have anything to do with deportations, though, but okay.
That's why we had the fairest and the toughest bill on immigration that this nation's seen. But as soon as I was getting ready to pass and actually tackle this, Donald Trump said no, told them to vote against it because it gives him a campaign issue.
He could do that in the midst of his campaign already kicking off, meaning that this bill, which of course was loaded with a bunch of other crap and didn't have deportations in it at all, by the way, you know, and not only did it not have deportations, but these people over here voting to keep convicted illegal immigrant sex offenders from being deported. I mean, this is insane. You're blocking them from being deported, or you're trying to block them from being deported. 158 Democrats saying nay. That a convicted sex offender should not be deported. That's the logic they rolling with. That's the logic they rolling with. Yeah. Okay. All right, moving on.
It gives him what would Donald Trump talk about if we actually did some of these things?
The only thing that she did when she became the vice president, when she became the appointed border czar, was to undo 94 Donald Trump executive actions that opened the border. This problem is leading to massive problems in the United States.
94. They undid 94 bills.
America.
We could come together and solve this if we didn't let Donald Trump continue to make it an issue. And the consequences in Springfield were the governor had to send state law enforcement to escort kindergartners to school. I believe Senator Vance wants to solve this, but by standing with Donald Trump and not working together to find a solution, it becomes a talking point. And when it becomes a talking point like this,
how do you respond to the polls show Americans support mass deportations? That's the question. So the question is, how do you respond to polls that show Americans support mass deportations? Well, we need this, and we had the best border this and border that. Why do Americans support mass deportations right now? And why is it such an issue for the Democrats? Because they act like no one remembers. But right here on the Beatzilla PDX official show. We make sure you never forget.
We had a very busy and active day today, as you all know, but I wanted to take a moment to go through the 15 executive actions, or highlights of them, I should say, and some of the steps that the president asked agencies to take today. You should have all received copies of the executive orders as well as the accompanying fact sheets, but I want to take this moment to highlight them for the American public who are watching at home. He signed a proclamation effective immediately, halting further funding or construction of the previous administration's border wall and terminating the so-called national emergency used to wastefully divert billions for wall construction. Also today, President Biden sent an immigration bill to Congress. The U.S. Citizenship Act modernizes our immigration system. It provides hardworking people who've enriched our communities and lived here for decades an opportunity to earn citizenship. The president's priority reflected in the bill are to responsibly manage the border, keep families together, grow our economy, address the root causes of migration from Central America, and ensure that America can remain a refuge for those fleeing prosecution. With that, I'd love to take your questions. Zeke, why don't you kick us off?
Responsible border. Well, what we have, we if you were grading that report card, that's an F. There has been no responsible border control. None. And it's look at what we're talking about, like 13 million people. This makes no sense. And then you have all of these documented criminals, all of these men coming. How are you getting people from Africa coming through the Mexico border, China, all these? And so again, like I said, it's turning into red dawn. And then on top of that, we're involved in all of these conflicts. So you're using, you're having soft borders, allowing all of the world's derelicts to enter in. There's a prison in Africa that I believe in the Congo somewhere that a bunch of inmates just subsequently escaped. It's like, oh yeah, I bet you it ain't but a matter of time before they over here. But there's a reason for this. And remember also that, what was it, a couple years ago when the African leaders showed up to the White House and they had Gladys Knight and other black entertainers being the entertainment. And then Joe Biden apologized to African leaders and leadership for slavery, for American chattel slavery. But he apologized to them for taking these people, for the America taking these people away from Africa. That's very interesting now, isn't it? It's like, yeah, okay. So again, on that Pan-Africanism front, doesn't really work out for us. Y'all will sit out here. Your leaders will have deals with our government, take $55 billion and go. And now all of a sudden, military-age criminals are breaking out of prison mysteriously. Okay. Yeah, if we don't get something happening here, like, well, we can't go back. What we can't do is go forward with these immigrant and these illegal aliens on our backs. That ain't gonna cut it.
We dehumanize and villainize other human beings.
Now, Governor Walz brought up the community of Springfield, and he's very worried about the things that I've said in Springfield. Look, in Springfield, Ohio, and in communities all across this country, you've got schools that are overwhelmed. You've got hospitals that are overwhelmed. You have got housing that is totally unaffordable because we brought in millions of illegal immigrants to compete with Americans for scarce homes. The people that I'm most worried about in Springfield, Ohio, are the American citizens who have had their lives destroyed by Kamala Harris's open border. It is a disgrace, Tim. And I actually think, I agree with you. I think you want to solve this problem, but I don't think that Kamala Harris does.
I don't talk about my faith a lot, but Matthew 25:40 talks about, to the least amongst us, you do unto me. I think that's true of most Americans. They
don't take that out of context now. He wasn't taught that scripture does not apply to everybody on the planet. It applied to who he was talking about. So the least of and take it out of context. The least of these, he was referring to a group of people. So the least of these, of this group, not everybody, but this group. And so to that regard, Tim, this group would be American. Not, where are you coming from? I'm coming from here. I'm coming from there. I'm coming from India. I'm coming from everywhere. That's another thing too about that. You're having all of the world's folks, and not to mention they're coming here getting benefits, and then want to turn around and say, "Oh, they're not getting benefits." Yes, they are, and we're seeing you. We can't hide it from Black America. Black America on the ground. We're going to see what it is. And of course, that's why Black America is not being mentioned in any of this, by the way. But one thing I will say about this is that there is a lot more substance in this debate because Donald Trump isn't there, so they can't spend all of the time rehashing something he said. Because if you've noticed, like when these people talk to a Republican official or a politician, they're always asking them about, do they co-sign what Trump said? It's like, that's his own man. What he said got to do with anything, and not to mention, you're talking about a person who is known for saying, buzzword type stuff. So who really takes it seriously? But we know a few people do, even if it's my thing is the context. Just like how we had in the overt censorship of 2022, where they always hit you up with the context and attach it to your post. Y'all remember that? Or missing context. Yeah, I ain't seen one of them. Trump's Project 2025. Well, where's the missing context or the false claim? Don't see it. Anyway, let's hear a little bit more.
Simply want order to it. This bill does it. It's funded. It's supported by the people who do it. And it lets us keep our dignity about how we treat other people.
Just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status, temporary protected status.
Well, Margaret, but
thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important
we're
because
going to turn out of the economy. Thank
Margaret,
you.
the rules were that you guys weren't going to
we're-
fact check, and since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually.
And so that right there, when you're doing the whole fact checking thing after you promise not to, and so for the people at home in America watching this, that, and the other to his statement, come on, man. At some point, there has to be. Because if nothing else, Tim Walz had the rebuttal, but they have to step in for him. These aren't solid candidates. Then, sorry.
Going on. So there's an application called the CBP One app where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole, and be granted legal status at the wave of a.
Oh, crap. Hold on. Okay. All right. Now, here we go.
It clarifies for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status, temporary protected status.
Well, Margaret, but
thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important
We're
because
going to turn out of the
debate-
economy. Thank
Margaret,
you.
the rules were that
The
you guys
economy-
weren't going to fact check. And since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on. So there's an application called the CBP One app, where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole, and be granted legal status at the wave of a Kamala Harris open border wand. That is not a person coming in, applying for a green card and waiting for 10 years. That is the facilitation of illegal immigration, Margaret, by
Thank you, Senator, for describing the legal process. We have so much to get to, Senator.
Those
We have
laws
so
have been on
much-
the books since 1990.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The
We
CBP
want to have-
One app has not been on the books since 1990. It's something that Kamala Harris created, Margaret.
Gentlemen, the audience can't hear you because your mics are cut.
And that's about all I wanted to hit on that. Now, again, as you can see, this guy is clearly debating three people. And it's that type of behavior that I can't really get down with. It's like, why do you have to do that for, well, an adult? I don't understand. But this is the stuff they keep doing, and it ain't cool. I just don't get it. I guess, you want to, rep your, well, no, you can't rep your candidate because, again, you are in journalism. So you have to rep journalism. And these people have an issue with repping journalism the way it should be. But, I guess at this point, it's all to be expected because gotten into the, like I said, the over talk you, interrupt you. This is literally supposed to be like a professional interview. How are you over talking your guests? You see Angela Rye doing it. It's like it's really odd. And then you're watching like a presidential debate moderator do it. And now we've seen it happen. Vice presidential moderators. It's just still happening. It's strange. Well, I can't say strange. It's just simply out of order. I'll put it. Yeah, I'll frame it that way. It's just hella out of order. It just doesn't make sense. So let me see here. Let me get this video. Where is it? Okay, not sure why it didn't open yet. Oh, it's too big. Okay. Let me get this video in here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I made a post on X the other day. And I did it in a video as a video question. And it seems like, a lot of people were hurt, which is just strange, but they're upset that I'm asking questions about Kamala. And I guess, first do I have that here? Because I need to actually play this other piece for you first before I play this. So let me do this. Let me play this other video first, and then I'll play my question, because I believe that was one of the reasons why everybody was so jilted to begin with. So these people have was Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. And if you remember, Stephen Jackson was real prevalent around the time of George Floyd. Y'all remember that? And so now here's this brother with the presidential candidate or presidential candidate, the current vice president, and she's coming to talk to them on their program. And so I guess she figured we'll go here again. This isn't grassroots media. This is still Hollywood media. It's just Hollywood media on a podcast form, but this is Hollywood. So what does she do? She goes and gets with these guys and a couple former basketball players, and one to whom was talking about light skin and with the good hair and about Kwame Brown when they was having their internet beef. And so let's hear what she has to say when they talk about her blackness.
Man.
Yeah.
You've always been secure in your identity, who you are, but what do you feel and what do you think when you hear people kind of questioning just the fabric of who you are?
Well, one, I don't listen to it.
Okay.
I'm really clear about who I am, and if anybody else is not, they need to go through their own level of therapy. That's not my issue.
Their issues, right?
My mother was very clear. She was raising two Black girls to be two proud Black women, and it was never a question.
How would it not be a question? First off, this is a immigrant Indian Hindu woman. I first have to ask, what is her experience with the strong Black woman thing? Because, when you, truth be told, see, this, again, kind of more evidence that a person lacks connection to our community. Who in the 70s was talking about strong Black woman? I can't recall seeing that in any like Black exploitation. Yeah, no, Foxy Mama. And even if she was getting down Cleopatra Jones but strong Black woman. No, I can't say so. That's a newer, more modern saying. So it's very interesting that, she knew she was raising two strong Black women. So again, I have to ask, where would an immigrant woman who just got to America, where would her in a few years understanding of a strong Black woman be? Where's that coming from in her experience? Because it's not Donald's. So whose experience is that? But anyway, that's what she says. She always knew. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because over the years, journalists, some, not most, will want to talk about it. And I say, okay, if you want to have this conversation, I'm prepared to have it, but sit down and get comfortable for a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to start talking about race in America,
Mm-hmm.
you want to talk about the 1/8 rule?
A drop.
1/8. 20 acres and a mule and 1/8. The one drop rule. He had to correct it. The 1/8 rule? You mean one drop? 1/8? Where the hell did she get that? 1/8. What? Man, let me tell you something. So what she's talking about right there, talking about one drop, that's kind of getting into colorism somewhat, but it definitely proves how out of touch she is. First off, it's 1 drop, not an eighth drop, 1/8 drop, but got it measured out now. Huh? But you know, she's pushing the line, and she doesn't address it when it comes up, but then she says when journalists ask her about it, she's ready to talk about it. That's a little confusing. How can you do both?
You want to talk about what it means in terms of who you are perceived to be and the impact that can have on the rest of your life, regardless of who you actually are in terms of your God-given capacity and the rights that you have and should have.
Do you understand what she just said? Boy, that was very slick way of saying, because I'm melanated, I'll be looked at as Black, even if I'm not one of you lowly Negroes. That's how it impacts my life, because I'm dark like you, but I know that, you know, that's not my station. What Black woman you ever heard talking like this? What Black woman have you ever heard talking like this? Come on, man. Let me run that back just so you can peep the what she actually said to you, because this is actually one of the rare times of her actually saying something. She's basically explaining to you how she was groomed and taught how to get over on the system by posing as a Black person, like I said. But let's listen to it.
That can have on the rest of your life, regardless of who you actually are in terms of your God-given capacity and the
she had to clean that up. Regardless of who you actually are. Ooh, wait. What does that mean right there?
God-given capacity and the rights that you have and should have. So, you know, I don't mess with that. I actually are in terms of your God-given your life, regardless of who you actually are in terms of your God-given capacity and the rights that you have and should have. So
that's an immigrant talking right there. Your God-given capacity. So you mean the caste system which comes within your community. So not being able to come here and have your same station and your same position within their hierarchy, because to them, you are just simply Black. I hope you understand what she is explaining about her own identity. She just said it very clear. So I'll play it one more time. I don't have to break it down because you just heard me.
Rest of your life, regardless of who you actually are in terms of your God-given capacity and the rights that you have and should have. So, you know, I don't mess with that. I think that's other people trying to figure some stuff out that and they
got some issues.
They
need some help on. They need some therapy. No, ma'am. You ain't Black and you ain't one of us. And some of us feel greatly insulted that you would pose as Black knowing you're not. So as for me, I asked this question on X. Got quite a response, a lot of hurt individuals chiming in as well. But this is what I asked. I got a serious question. How does a woman that identifies as Caucasian on her paperwork know that she is raising 2 Black girls? What does that mean? Does that mean that society sees them as Black? Or does she mean for them to use Blackness as a cosplaying tactic to have protection in both worlds? So on paper, she puts down white and Caucasian. But socially, she gets protected by the Black community by cosplaying Blackness. This is just an angle I see, because why would a woman who has Caucasian on her paperwork know that she was raising 2 black daughters that are hers. How does that make sense? Somebody answer that, please. And so that was my question. And there was a lot of butthurt individuals. A lot. Oh man, and everybody want to move the goalposts. Here's the thing again, shout out to Candace Owens, because she's breaking it down and she's been getting some solid information, knowing that now that woman that Kamala Harris put in her picture in the book, that ain't her grandmother at all. Matter of fact, they appear not to even be related. Like, that's a family offspring of a family servant who's been dead for a while. I think was she? Well, actually, it wasn't that woman who actually passed away, but I don't think. But there's so much going on, like they're trying to play with her, past, and that's very, very interesting. Then you'll have people try to flip it. Oh man, it's birther stuff. No, it's not. And the picture that's on the internet of her birth certificate is legit. So for those who don't understand, that birth certificate is legit. So knock it off. Oh man, that's not legit. Yeah, it is though. Sucks, but it is. And so as you see, Kamala Harris's suspected real grandmother here up there looking down on her Indian Irish granddaughter doing big things. Got another actor right there with him, and Vladimir Zelensky. Well, they like that theater, don't they? Let's go from the theater wearing tights and conquistador outfits to putting on fatigues and looking like I'm out there in the streets. I'm a leader. It's like, man, yeah, actors, Hollywood, never forget, Hollywood juiced in with the government. There's a Hollywood division. So they got people primed and ready. So, needless to say, people were very upset. Still are, I guess. But, my question is, how can she? She can't. She just simply can't. As much as you would like her to, she can't. She can't magically be black. So, with that being said, matter of fact, speaking of magically not being black, this is funny.
People portraying white people as being racist and told that we hate black people. One thing, right now, they're trying to misconstrue things here, and the Haitian people are trying to act like they're African Americans that have been here and born and raised here. They're trying to portray themselves as a black American. They're not black Americans, And I want to know why are these people being coddled and pampered and giving us beautiful life, a life better than I live, off my tax dollars? What's going on with that? And there's a couple of things, a couple of rumors I want to know about Haitians buying guns in pawn shops around here, having people, citizens, go into shops and buy a bunch of guns and distribute them out. I don't know if that's true or not, but if that's true,
wow,
that needs to be stopped.
Yes, it does.
I don't know, why do they need guns? What are they scared of? They getting the red carpet treatment, man. This is wrong. We are second-class citizens. The citizens that were born here, we become second class to a bunch of people that don't even belong here. A bunch of chaos has come to our city because of the immigrant situation. If we took on a problem from a third world country that is not our problem.
Facts.
Why are we taking care of this and supporting this?
Facts.
You know, why don't these people go home and fight for their own countries they seem so proud of? You know, instead of coming over here crying and getting a bunch of free shit. You know, that's wrong. Off all the people that pay taxes, and then they want to turn around and start hating on us and calling us racist. There's something really wrong with that picture. And what else? Please. Oh, and there was a whole bunch of
I mean, you know, you can't be mad at Buddy over there, can you? I mean, and he's right. They try to act like they're Black Americans. They're not Black Americans, not like the ones who are born here. See, people will come at us and they don't know the difference between who was on the boat and who was. I beg to differ. And see, this is why there's tethers and the tether adjacent individuals out here. They got us so much to say. And, you know, again, if you guys, you know, understand, there's been, let's see, Luke and his crowd. That's why I have this picture. Do I have that picture on? No, I don't have that on the screen. I thought I did, but I didn't use that. But, you know, Luke's crew, the Luther Campbell crew, you know, this is some of his cronies. One is a delegate. There's Nikki Barnes. She's a delegate for the DNC, and they were people who were coming in spaces acting like they were just there to be with their people and all of that. And really, realistically, they were just there to be DNC plant infiltrating shields and to dissuade the energy of reparations and delineation. So again, like I said, boy, them at tether, like brother Black Alpha Network always says, that tether phone was ringing. That tether phone was a ringing. And remember what I always say about these folks. They got these partners. You understand? Partners. So let me show you something. Yeah, that's what we need to get. Take that out of there. Okay. But yeah, move that partners, I say. And so let me get this. That's right there. So let me get this in here. Because some of them partners, of course, are foundational Black American. And this one in particular, though, is questionable to me. She says she's foundational Black American, so I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. We'll roll with that. At the end of the day, though, you still trying to get Black folks to vote for benign neglect. And we over here at the Beatzilla PDX official show say hashtag vote no to benign neglect. So no, thank you, ma'am. But let's also hear what she has to say, because there's also the other part of delineation that now is starting to play into people's status. And a lot of folks are not here legally that have been passing themselves off as foundational Black Americans. Go figure. They're a legitimate tether.
I am so sick of this Black American versus Black immigrant bullshit, because that's exactly what it is. Bullshit. At the end of the day,
number one, there is no anything against, and it's Black American against. No, We have delineated See, here's what people don't understand. Delineation means your problems are not ours. We are focused on our group and our group alone, no one else's. And what do they keep doing? They keep talking about that being hate. Us not fighting somebody else's battle is hate. That's insane. No, we want to be left alone to pursue what is due to us. And everybody trying to latch on to us right now ain't cool. But anyway, let's hear more.
Hey, we have the same struggles, we have the same issues, and racism is not going to stop and ask, are you from Jamaica? Are you from Haiti?
That white man just told you the difference between the people, Black Americans and everybody else. He doesn't look like a rocket scientist, so I'm assuming the average Joe white man can obviously tell just as much as he can who's who. Why would that be any different now?
Are you from Barbados? No, they're not going to ask that. Racism is going to be racist. So stop it. Stop it. When the slave ships dropped people off, they dropped them off all over. We are all descendants of slaves.
Very true. Just not the descendants of American chattel slavery. The debt owed to us comes from a different source. So there is nothing to tie us to. See, that's over there. She's over here fighting for immigrants. Don't get lost in that. That's all that's about. Let's tie ourselves into these. No, ma'am. You can hold on to that. No. Okay, so let's see. Now, let's go back in here again. All right, part 2.
So the fact that I had so many people upset about my comments yesterday that we are all descendants of slaves, and they were, really, really pissed. I must say, though, I had more support than I did, the detractors. But be that as it may, I did have detractors who were upset, calling me African, calling me Caribbean. And while there's absolutely nothing wrong with being African, with being from the Caribbean, any of that, they were wrong. They were like, oh my gosh, she can't possibly be a foundational Black American because look at her bone structure. Look at it. Look at it. Look at her bone structure. She has features of African or Caribbean or whatever else it was they were saying. And then I dropped a receipt on their ass. I am from Indiana. I am what they consider foundational Black American. But now I have to be a sellout because they have to keep moving the goalposts. I swear, if these are the people that they're counting on to get reparations, you're never going to get it. Never, ever going to get it.
People, they do this thing where they say, oh, no, I'm FBA. Yep, I'm foundational Black American. I'm from Indiana. But you reparations, you're never going to get reparations. It immediately take themselves out of it. But I thought you were one of us. So like I said, the verdict is out, but we all know tethers lie. So I'll leave it at that. But that's one thing we do know. Oh yeah, but it appears we're gonna get here to some of the get to this last piece here this evening. Oh boy. Y'all, okay. Did y'all see the little piece with the soon to be first man Doug? Well, actually, wait. Before I get to Doug, because we're gonna close on Doug. let me show you something. And this is the blue coat. The blue. I should call this. I'm gonna call this the blue coat crash out. Not sure if any of y'all have seen this particular TikTok video, but family, when we are saying that these folks are addicted to a blue coat, we are not playing, man. And this woman is demonstrating the demonic stranglehold that the Democratic plantation has put on her, so much so that she has interwoven her preaching skills into worldly skills, promoting Caesar when she should be praising Jesus. But let's go hear what she has to say.
Spirit to say right now to you black men who are running around here dogging this black woman, I need y'all to heal. I need y'all to find the source of your hatred for black women. I need you to dig deep into it. I need you to work it out. And I need y'all motherfuckers to heal. I need y'all to heal, because the fact that you would take a 78-year-old known racist ass white man and put him over a black woman who has gone to an HBCU, who has done the work to try to bring up black and brown lives, for you guys to be that blinded by your hatred for black women, by the fact that, yes, we've been allowed to progress in this country, and it has not been by accident and without pain and punishment. Yes, we have grown in the numbers when it comes to degrees. We're number one with degrees and starting businesses. Yes, we are kicking ass in this country and taking names despite what the white man has decided to do to us. But my brothers, we need y'all to follow along, not get mad and point your fucking fingers at us and say, see, our women are against us. Our women don't love us. Our women don't want us. Brother man, I need you to pull your head up out your ass and stop letting that man bamboozle you every single opportunity you got to turn the fucking page on Black America. Every single opportunity we get. Every time we standing at the fucking front line getting ready to cross over, somebody, one of you coon ass motherfuckers creep in, you snake in with some shit that was given to you by the likes of Putin, by the likes of Trump, and you destroy us from within. You have been doing this for generation and generation, and it's time for it to stop. I say to you, my brother man, take a look in the mirror. Take a look in the mirror and decide whose side you're on. Because black women, we ain't turning back. We stepping forward. We stepping forward in faith. We're stepping forward by faith and faith alone. And we going with or without you.
Wow. I just had to come on camera just to show y'all my facial expression real quick. Wow. Okay. All right. All righty then. Okay, sister. And this is what we talk about: blue coat and absolutely demonic stronghold. Oh. Oh, Lord. Lord have mercy.
Important part and interest.
She started preaching, didn't she? She started preaching. Oh, man. Yeah, you should not be such a gross fanatic. That and gross fanatic. Good Lord. Really? Revival night. Lord. So are you still voting for Kamala Harris, and why? I mean, real talk. Why? Over here, we vote no to benign neglect. But let's hear this Doug Emhoff piece.
Important part, or an interesting part of how people have talked about your role here is how your role has reshaped the perception of masculinity. And I'm not sure you planned on that, but you are an incredibly supportive spouse. Has that been an evolution for you? And do you think that's part of the role you might play as first gentleman?
It's funny. I've started to think a lot about this. I've always been like this. My dad was like this. And to me, it's the...
What the hell is read? Let me just go back.
Important part, or an interesting part of how people have talked about your role here is how your role has reshaped the perception of masculinity. And I'm not...
How did Doug's role reshape the perspective? Anything? The perspective of masculinity? Are you crazy? No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. That just says that you will accept a beta male in the right position. That's crazy. However, you know, I'm not, I guess I shouldn't be shocked that that's the line they're trying to go with, because they had to figure out something, because he is not the most manliest of men. You know, my wife tends to lead towards the notion that he might not necessarily be too fond of lady folk. But who knows? You know? who knows? However, you know, there's been some news that has recently broke about good old Doug. And it says Kamala Harris's husband, Doug Emhoff, forcefully slapped ex-girlfriend for flirting with another man in booze-fueled assault after date to star-studded gala. And that's the nanny mistress. That's freaking hilarious. Doug, reshaping the thoughts of masculinity. Y'all believe that? Does Doug Emhoff reshape the your perspective of masculinity? Is this how y'all seeing Doug Emhoff right now? Not to laugh at the situation, but that is so hilarious. Y'all gonna cancel Doug? Doug Emhoff did more than Jonathan Majors did.
Just who you fucking with. That's the name.
Doug Emhoff, yeah. Was it Doug J? DJ Emhoff? Ah. Oh Lord, man, y'all stay away from that narcotic, man. Oh Lord. Doug Emhoff, the slapped abroad, huh? The touched up the ex-girlfriend, forcefully slapped her after she was flirting. So not only is he reshaping, because he's reshaping masculinity. Yeah, good going with pushing that beta male line. So much so that he's a beta male, and he felt insecure. He had to take a paw across the broad jaw, and that's what y'all want. That's what y'all want. while the foundational Black Americans can just look at y'all and say, let me see. Do I have time for that? No, I don't. I'm going to do that by itself. So, you know, there's a lot of people. I'm going to do that. A lot of people upset. What difference does it make that, Kamala Harris's grandma ain't the Black woman in the picture that she lied about? Well, another thing that she keep doing, and that's another issue, but just to look at some things that have came up. This is one of them. Look at these numbers. Non-detained, non-citizens, convicted criminals. And that's 400, that's almost 500,000, man. This is a humongous problem. And we already seen how it was done. Then they turn around and then they do stuff like this. You vote this down and then call it good, right? These people ain't to be trusted, and it's showing day after day. And another thing that they keep doing is let me go. The other thing they keep doing. Look at these agendas here. So this is supposed to be their agenda side by side or whatever. Okay, so let's look at this. The Harris-Walsh agenda versus Trump-Vance agenda. Cut taxes for 100 million Americans by giving tax credits to working and middle-class families. And on the Trump side, it says impose what is effectively a new sales tax on everyday goods like food and clothing, costing the typical American family about $4,000 a year. That's not true. They go on the Harris side, protect and expand access to reproductive care. On the Trump side, ban abortion access nationwide and attack access to IVF and contraception. Well, you just heard J.D. Vance say that we should be supporting IVF. So that is actually the take from the Trump side, although they keep lying on the Democratic side saying it's something else. Democrat side, promote common sense gun safety laws and to protect Americans from gun violence. That won't happen, and there already are gun safety laws. There's already background checks, yada, yada. On the other side, invalidate state gun safety laws and support guns everywhere agenda. What? Well, then first off, you just admitted that their laws already exist. So they just get you in a hamster wheel for something that already exists? That is insane. Cap out-of-pocket prescription drug card. Okay, we done heard that. Terminate the Affordable Care Act. They're not doing that with no plan to replace it. Trump has been in office for 4 years. He said he would not get rid of it unless there was something better. This is the thing. I just want honesty. I don't show me what's really there. Don't feed me BS. And then be like, why don't you believe in it? Because I can determine what I want on my own. I do not need to be lied to by you. Here they go, invest in American manufacturing and clean energy. Man, you better go talk to Hillary Clinton about how we got so many of these jobs up out of this country. What are you talking about? That's why nobody even has a tech, can call a phone tech in this country. On the other side, on Trump's side, roll back investments in American manufacturing and clean energy and send jobs overseas. That was absolutely the Democrats who did it. What is she talking about? Wow. Tackle the climate crisis with bold action. And on Trump's side, surrender the fight against the climate crisis. Well, what, are you just going to roll over and die? Is that what's going to happen? I mean, come on, man. It's give me something of substance. Stop feeding me BS propaganda like that. Because that's all it is. It's just BS propaganda. And so for me, I'm good, man. I am totally cool. Let me see. Oh, okay, yeah. So before we get out of here, I'm gonna just say this real quick. As far as we had the United Nations and whatnot over here, I understand people come from different cultures and whatnot, but let's be clear: they're not sending the best and brightest to that's not who's coming here. They're coming to get their best on because there's more opportunity for them here, but they're crowding and flooding the zone. But let's be clear, when they've been talking about these folks can't drive, don't be surprised. And then people probably, oh man, they talk about they can't drive. Family, when you're like high-ranking political officials can't figure out how to, as much as see a pitcher of water and think to pour it in a glass, that's saying a lot. But look at this.
Respect for its dignity.
Who the hell does that? I'm not going to pour my water in here. I'm just going to tip the pitcher over on myself. What the hell is he doing? Look at this.
Respect for its dignity.
Oh man, the Haitian Prime Minister. I don't know what y'all got going on down there. I don't know what y'all got going on down there. Oh, but here's something that we have going on right here, and this is something that y'all better understand is something, like I said, to keep eye on, to keep watch on, because at the end of the day, the United States of America is the United States of America and Israel military arm annex. So that picture right there should tell you everything they want to do, and they want to send young men to war. It's coming. That's why they're trying to get that draft popping again. So y'all just keep, be mindful of this stuff, man. There's different levels to everything. And so watching this on a grand scheme, you want this woman in this position. What you see right there on your screen should tell you everything you need to know. And is she and that union going to do anything for foundational Black Americans? Especially these jewels of the Most High that are sitting here in America? No. And she's married to her allegiance to that flag. And that's why we have to stay 10 toes down not bend, not budge, not break. Because we are on the side of right. We are on the side of righteousness. And this right here is a union that brings us no benefit. Matter of fact, it has brought us harm. Their police force trained our police force, militarized our folks, and then they was coming through, blowing through. Now they don't want to even police anymore because they had to curtail some of the way they were over aggressively policing Black folks. That's why we need reparations. Cut the check. Because at the end of the day, we are voting no to benign neglect. Because Ukraine is not our responsibility, nor is Israel. So for some of us, we might just be on the couch. Hashtag Couch Night 2024. What are your plans, ladies and gentlemen, for Couch Night, November 5th, 2024? What are you going to do? What do you got any plans? You guys making something, making nachos, making chicken wings, something of the sort? You know, let me know. Let me know in the comments what your November 5th couch night looks like. Because if it's no tangibles, it's no vote over here. No Black agenda, no vote over here. And nobody wants to even mention Black folks over here at all nowadays. So with that being said, this is the allegiance that they have right here. And this is the other allegiance that they have right here. So with that, we fully are aware of how this system works, and they tell you, well, vote for this and vote for that, and then your people will get up there and not do anything on your behalf. So at the end of the day, what has voting got us?
How can Black people rise up and overcome?
Get out and vote?
That is incorrect. I'm sorry.
And so, in closing, I'll let the elder remind you of the duty we have to one another.
Good evening, Dr. Clark. I really would like you to tell me what's the best way to handle an African American that gets in the way of the liberation of African Americans. I believe in this unity, and I'd love to love all of them, embrace them. Please tell me how to do it strategically.
Put space between you. Don't try to reform him. Give him the information. Hope that he will use it. If he don't use it, then don't waste time letting him obstruct the movement. People who don't believe in themselves can't believe in you and can't help you. It's heartbreaking to know that there are some of us we have to write off so the rest of us can survive.
Facts. Babylon is fallen. Babylon is fallen. Let it fall and let us rise. Can you dig it? So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for tuning in to the Beatzilla PDX official show. This has been the midweek report, news break edition. And, you know, I hope that you understand what we keep talking about when we say more Democrat delusions and brainwashing. And you saw the lady who we could say would fit the brainwashed. She flipped her lid over there, didn't she? nose, nostrils flaring. Oh man. But you know, now so we'll be talking about Doug over here redefining or reframing masculinity, which is an absolute joke. No, he's not. He's just a soft beta dude who is a soft beta dude. He's not redefining anything. There's nothing new about that. We also talked about Angela Rye. Yeah, and then, you know, I also talked about my my question in my post from X about the legitimacy of Kamala Harris background, and then, you know, we also talked about the vice president debate that took place, and then of course the one thing that we also talked about is the thing that came up in the debate about the censorship. And with the censorship, let me close with this. They have already shown you and demonstrated how they'll target foundational Black Americans, just like they did Brother Reza Islam when they wanted to label him disinformation dozen. And so how these laws apply, what did they say? We're getting all of these. Joe Biden used to say, oh, I've appointed all of these Black judges and these Black DAs. How have Black DAs benefited foundational Black Americans right now? And for all of those Black DAs, do you notice that none of those other Black DAs are even visible to promote this DA, this supposed Black DA, this faux Black DA? No, they're not coming out and saying, yeah, we're standing with her. No, they have them in the background because it's literally all about one woman right now. And the one thing that they are showing you, they don't show you with her around a lot of other Black women. If you notice that, you never see her in crowds of Black women with her being so Black and all, but whatever. And so allowing people to speak freely, express themselves freely, which is the First Amendment, these are things that she wants to infringe upon and has spoke about many of times about infringing on it. They took down, they forced Twitter to take down Donald Trump's X page when Elon Musk got X. He brought it back, brought Donald Trump back, and they were upset about that, believing he should stay gone and they should control what you hear in this discourse about politics and how it affects your daily life. And they want to be able to dictate to you, especially Black Americans, when we start speaking truth to power and speaking for ourselves, to ourselves about our agenda, building on a grassroots level, then we see all of the opposition go on alert and start trying to combat it, send their operatives over to disrupt it. But nonetheless, all I can say for those of you who have been talking against foundational Black Americans and talking against our reparations, but now it's looking like if Donald Trump wins, you might be deported.
You shouldn't have been talking shit.
So always remember, never bite the hand that feeds you, and never, ever be disrespectful to the people that allowed you to be here in the first place. But always remember, this is not an affair. So, ma'am, just like the other lady said, all of the folks that were on boats that went to different islands, yeah, we know that, but that doesn't tie you into our claim. And we know this going back even as far back to our good brother Malcolm X.
I think you're right there. I would not limit our employment demands to Negroes. I would include Puerto Ricans and other minorities throughout our country, which have been similarly discriminated against, though not for so long a period of time as Negroes.
Puerto Ricans weren't enslaved. Yeah, this is a problem that stems from slavery. And this compensation, yes, sir, this compensation is coming to people who were enslaved by the white man for 400 years. The Puerto Ricans don't even fit into this picture.
Well, they do fit into it.
No,
they do fit into it.
The problem is the Negro problem. They're not lynching Puerto Ricans.
If a dark-skinned Puerto Rican went down to Mississippi, he
As long as
probably
he
would be
could
lynched
speak
too.
Spanish, he wouldn't be lynched.
No, they don't
It's
ask
the
him what
Negro
to
here, and as long as he can speak Spanish or some other language, or if he ties his head up with a turban or something, he can go anywhere in Mississippi or in your home that he desires.
You're not aware of the fact, are you, that African students have been arrested in our demonstrations in the South?
When they
speak French.
When they have been mistaken for the so-called Negro in America, they've been arrested.
What I'm saying is...
And see, so back then, let me be clear. That shows you that there's a delineation. There always has been. So don't get brand new on us. So for those of you who don't understand, we are maintaining our position, standing on our square, and from Malcolm X to today to us, we understand we have a specific claim and we're dealing with our specific issues. If you are even one of us or an outsider and cannot understand that, then something's wrong with you. But if you believe that we would ever give up what we're doing based on what you think, well, I speak for myself, Beatzilla PDX official, the Beatzilla PDX official show. Those of you in the chat, grassroots, the voices of new black media, I think it's safe to say I speak for all parties involved when we proudly dedicate this song to you.
Get up off of that cocaine and get up off of that crack. Get yourself together and get your mind back.
Yes, indeed. Remember, hashtag hands off our reparations.
You have no rights here. We're not under the empire.
Yes, indeed, family. This has been the Midweek Report. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at beatzillapdx. You can email me at ourrealtruth@gmail.com. And if you feel so inclined to put some money in the bucket and support this channel, you can do so by way of Cash App. That is $BeatzillapDX. It's Cash App, $BeatzillapDX. Of course, we have PayPal, which is Zilla Music. That is ZILLAMUZAK at PayPal. And with that being said, we are at the end of tonight's broadcast, and I hope everybody has enjoyed themselves. And until the next time, family, keep your notification bell on and stay black, stay vigilant, stay alive. Black first, black first, black first. Shalom, y'all.
When you know who Satan is, yes, sir, you don't have to kill him. No. The stone of truth. Yes. See, that's what you throw. Yes, right. Allah says, had we wished to take a pastime from before, surely we would have done it. Nay, we cast truth at falsehood till we knock out its brains. Every one of you that knows the truth, stand up and tell it from the mountaintop. Black people can't take it no more. So wherever you are on the job, in the factory, I don't care where you are. If you know the truth, stand up on the truth and tell Satan, who the hell are you to try and pick my friends? Farrakhan is God's man, and you are from the enemy of God. So to hell with you. Stand up on it like a man.